Welcome, everybody. My name is Tony Mecia with the Charlotte Ledger. You are at the 2025 General Election Charlotte City Council Candidate Virtual Forum. It's hosted by the Election Hub and moderated by me with the Charlotte Ledger and Glenn Burkins of QCity Metro. We thank you for joining us. You can find out more information about all of the candidates at theelectionhub.org. I want to tell you a little bit about the Election Hub. If we got the next slide. The Election Hub provides free, nonpartisan, comprehensive, hyperlocal information to help voters cast informed votes. It's a new nonprofit 501c3 organization, and we've got a bunch of people working to deliver smart, fair, down the middle information about candidates, again, so that voters in Mecklenburg County can cast informed votes. We've got all the candidates in Mecklenburg County represented on the Election Hub. So all the Charlotte City Council candidates, all the school board candidates, all the candidates in Mecklenburg's 6 towns, and then new this year, we've got candidates in Gaston County, Gastonia, Belmont, and Mount Holly. So any of those, if you're in one of those towns, check it out. You can find out a bunch of different information about the candidates. Tonight, we are talking about the Charlotte City Council. Do we have another slide? There we go. Okay, yes, we want to talk about the housekeeping notes for tonight. We are going to record this event. It's going to be available after the event at theelectionhub.org. And then we're going to divide it by the different races. We're going to start with Charlotte City Council at large and then go to the competitive City Council district races. We did invite the mayoral candidates tonight. We did not hear back from them, so we are not including the mayoral candidates as a part of this forum. But we will talk to the at-large candidates. We will talk to candidates from District 3, which is in Charlotte's west side, and also District 6, which is in South Charlotte. And so we're going to ask each of the candidates in each section to introduce themselves. We're going to actually, this says 2 minutes, but we're going to hold them to a 1-minute introduction. Glenn and I are going to ask some questions, and then we'll do a wrap-up at the end. So it should move pretty quickly. We anticipate that this will be the whole thing about an hour and be done by about 7 o'clock. And so please share any feedback that you have. We've just started doing this election cycle and really want to hear from you. So do we have another slide? All right, and so these are the different city council districts. You'll see the ones we're talking to tonight. We have at large, which is citywide. District 3, which is in the orange there toward the left, and then District 6, which is in the purple. That's a South Charlotte district around South Park area, other parts of South Charlotte, but not as far south as Ballantyne, which is District 7. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. The Charlotte City Council has 11 seats and a mayor. All of those are on the ballot this election cycle, the November 4th election. Early voting has started. And these are partisan races, which means that the candidate's party registration is listed on the ballot. So you will see whether they are Republicans, Democrats, or unaffiliated. The current Charlotte City Council is made up of 9 Democrats and 2 Republicans, as well as Democratic Mayor Vi Lyles. And it is divided. There are 7 districts, as you can see there, and then 4 city council members are elected at large, which means they're elected by the entire city. They're elected to 2-year terms, so we hear from them a lot every 2 years. A lot of these races, as I mentioned, were settled during the primaries. Essentially, you had some competitive primary races in some of the districts, and so in a lot of those districts, there is no competition. So it's just one name on the ballot. We're talking tonight to folks who are in some of these competitive races. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, I will also mention, I'm sorry, we had if you're interested in this topic and if you're interested in the election, we did have a candidates forum the other night with school board candidates. That was a really good discussion. You can check that out at theelectionhub.org under the events tab. Let's go ahead and get started. 6:05, we are talking with at-large city council candidates, and we invited all of them. And let me see here. It looks like the only one here at the moment is Edwin Peacock, so that's an advantage for Edwin. Hopefully we'll get a few others joining us. We'd heard that a few others were coming. And so, here's another one, Misun Kim. Why don't we go ahead and get started? Edwin, why don't we start with you if you want to take a minute and just tell folks who you are, why you're running, and a little bit about yourself.
Thanks to QC Metro and to Charlotte Ledger, and I appreciate your coverage of this important election. My name is Edwin Peacock. I am the city council member from District 6. I'm a Charlotte native. I'm a small business owner in the insurance and financial services business. My wife and I have 2 young adult children. I've had the great fortune of serving the city of Charlotte, and the position that I'm seeking here, actually 18 years earlier. I was elected to it in 2007 and served 2 terms from 2007 to 2011. I bring a lot of qualifications for this position from my private but also my public life as well too. And I'm hoping to put those to use to the voters for the city of Charlotte.
All right, thanks. Good to hear from you. So, as I think I mentioned, it's an at-large seat. Voters will select 4 seats. They can vote for up to 4 people. There are 6 people running, and Edwin's one of them. Another one, Edwin's a Republican. Another Republican running, Misun Kim. Welcome. Would you like to take a minute, introduce yourself, say who you are, why you're running, what sets you apart?
Hi, my name's Misun Kim. I'm running because I care about Charlotte. I'm a small business owner. I have been in Charlotte for 23 years. I have seen Charlotte's been growing and changing a lot of ways. And I'm here to show what real politicians who care about this, making people's lives better, who can do and bring the better job and safe community and listen to. I'll be the voice of everybody in this town, and I've been in America for a long time, and nobody gave me anything, but I own every dollar that 2-3 businesses at a time, and single mother with 2 kids, business owner, and a civic leader. So that's what I'm running for. I'm going to bring the best things that people can expect from the politician. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. First question from Glenn Burkins of QCity Metro.
Thank you, Tony. As we all know, voters in the next month and even now are being asked to decide a referendum to fund light rail. How are you going to vote on that issue, and why?
Let's start with Misun. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. It absolutely no. As you know that they're not going to keep their promise. Its first promise is they are going to create $1.5 billion in 5 years. And those money not going to using for the transit system. First of all, the transit system we have now has to be operating much better. They should have put the gates in there collecting fees and have a CCTV and to tap into police department, provide a safe environment and more bus stops in poverty area where they need it. Let's not making a false promises to people that don't have money. I mean, this is insane to me.
Okay. Edwin?
I'm in favor of the 1 cent increase because I do not see an alternative of any type in which we can go back to a method of what I call hope and pray. And that means hoping and praying that NCDOT and Raleigh will provide Charlotte sufficient transit funding for roads, expansion of bus, light rail, micro transit. It's just simply not there. I've been a supporter of the half-cent sales tax dating back to when I was first elected in 2007 when it was a referendum item then. And we've seen the success of the light rail that was anticipated to have all types of ridership issues and not bring that much investment. And I would argue that anybody that looks at our system would say it's been an enormous success. But Ms. Kim brings up a big point that if this transit tax passes, that this new board that will be appointed has to put an enormous emphasis on safety. It's been brought into the bright light following the murder of Irina Zaruska. And if we don't make safety on our trains and our buses the top priority, it will absolutely die a slow death, and we can't do that. And I know that the members of the new appointed board, you're going to have to obviously see that be number one.
All right. All right, I'll take the next question. This is just to both of you. Now, the city council does a lot of things. It supervises the city manager, city clerk, city attorney, sets a budget, sets priorities for the city. What would be your number one top priority if elected, Edwin Peacock?
Our city needs a robust, community-oriented, all out, all hands on deck approach to addressing our problems with public safety. I know this simply gets brought up sometimes during election year, but what we have seen is that there is a real gap between law enforcement, prosecutors, and our sentencing system, not to mention mental health, addiction, and homelessness. And I think our city needs to address this as seriously as we did when we found out that we were 50th out of 50th in large major U.S. cities in economic mobility. We need a community-wide approach to this. I believe it should reside outside of 600 East 4th Street, and I'm recommending that it be a foundation for the Carolinas, similar to the way that we structured the Leading on Opportunity Council, which did incredible things in order to help to address and combat poverty that we're trying to stop here in this city.
All right, thanks. Misun Kim, what would your top priority be?
It'll be transparency of what's going on in city council. I was attending meetings and I found out there's no transparency. We're definitely encouraging everybody to recommend the law, put it into place that every city council members, officers, they have to be audited every year, and they cannot have a government contract nor the extended family. And that way, everybody is there to just serving people, not for themselves. And then top of that, I will bring the best job possibly out there, and bring my connection with the South Korean companies and the high-tech companies. I will bring the high-paying jobs, so we can provide other jobs besides being in working for bank.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Just a reminder here, we're talking to at-large city council candidates. There's 6 running for a total of 4 seats. So we have Edwin Peacock here tonight, Misun Kim tonight. They're both Republicans. And we've also invited, of course, Dimple Ajmera. She's an incumbent. Victoria Watlington, she's an incumbent. Smudgy Mitchell, he's an incumbent. And Luana Slack Mayfield. Those are all Democrats. And they are all incumbents, and they are not here at the moment, but we're going to keep on with the questioning. Glenn, why don't you take the next one, and we'll go first to Misun Kim.
Tony, I want to follow up on your question actually on public safety. We know there have been some very high-profile incidents, unfortunate and heartbreaking incidents. So I guess my question to the candidates is, do you believe Charlotte is inherently unsafe?
Oh, yes. Me first. Yes, absolutely. I mean, we had a 4 death within 24 hours a couple of days ago. And 4 years old, the child got killed by the drive-by shooting while he's sleeping in his grandparents' house. This is insane. And you cannot walk around in uptown after 5 o'clock. It's too dangerous. Even I'm in part of a homeless ministry in uptown, and I talk to them all the time. And even homeless people, they say they're so scared to come out. So we can do a whole lot better. And I have a certain, I have a solution for that I can offer it. We can talk further because there's time limit, right? So I would like to come back.
I'll go ahead. But what would you do?
I would like to do what I like to do is I've been traveling all over the world, so I would like to use the CCTV to connect it to face recognition technology to follow those criminals, to identify where they're going, and then capture them. And if we started to capture one person at a time, and either clean up street, and also we must have more lighting, street lighting, to provide, so they cannot committing any crimes. I'm not talking about taking a personal private life. I'm not using CCTV for that. I'm just purely want to use the CCTV and then face recognition connect to the police department so we can just capture one person at a time. And the more people get committed and more crimes. Especially another one is we have to use the curfew for teenagers, and the teenagers, they are the one committing a lot of crimes, but we're not punishing them. But if we punish the parents who is not teaching the kids accountability, and who has kids committing crimes all the time, we should bring the just punishment to the adult, the
Okay.
parents.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Glenn, did you want to ask that same question to
Yes,
Edwin
please.
Peacock? Okay. Is Charlotte a safe city? Was that the question?
Is it inherently unsafe or inherently dangerous?
And Edwin, you'll get 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Glenn, it's not inherently unsafe, but currently we do have a crime problem. And you can look no further than what we're seeing as you come out of our facilities for the Arts and Cultural District in Uptown Charlotte, ride on the light rail, look at the details that Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department finally released that I've been requesting since 8/25 on the number of incidences within 1/8 of a mile just of our light rail, and in over 1,777 incidents in the last 3 years at just our Charlotte Transit Center at Spectrum. And so our approach to law enforcement can't just be from the top down. There's clearly a prevention side to it that clearly is needing to address youth violence and the choices that individuals are making to resolve conflict. We've had some very serious issues, and you can see that from CMPD's third quarter report. They had a very sobering assessment of it as well too, and I think our city's taking it seriously. I just came from the second of 2 press conferences in Uptown Charlotte, of which CMPD, Charlotte Center City Partners, and others are taking the team approach. I want to see us do more. I think a lot of it resides in the county and in the state side. And Ernya's law really did help to accelerate a lot of things that we know were a problem with cashless bail, with what we've seen, again, from a sentencing standpoint, particularly for those that have been involuntarily committed, and should they continue to be returned to the street when they're a harm to themselves or a harm to others.
All right, thanks. I see that Dimple Ajmera has joined us. She's a Democrat incumbent running at large. Dimple, would you like to take a minute and introduce yourself to voters, say who you are, why you're running, and what sets you apart?
Yes, thank you, Tony, for having us. Good evening, everyone. I'm Dimple Ajmera. I'm honored to serve you as one of your at-large council members, and I'm seeking my 5th term on the Charlotte City Council to continue the work that we have started on public safety, infrastructure, housing, and ensuring that our economy continues to grow with the economic growth and opportunities. And I hope to have your support for another term. So keep it simple. Vote for Dimple.
And Dimple, I just wanted to catch up on some of the questions that we've asked. If you could sort of tell us quickly, how do you plan to vote on the transit tax referendum?
Yes, I do plan on supporting our transit referendum because I'm a product of public transportation.
And let's see, can I send
And
my phone? Because I'm sitting here watching.
Robin, I
One
can hear
second.
you.
Y'all need to
Robin
mute, y'all need
Emmons,
to
there we go.
mute somebody.
Thank you. I think we're good now.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dimple.
Yeah, so I was saying that I am planning on supporting the transit referendum. I'm a yes vote for the transit referendum because I'm a product of public transportation. Our family, when we couldn't afford a car, relied on public buses to get to work, to get to a college, and everything in between. So public transportation system is truly a difference that it can make in many people's lives to upward mobility. I'm a product of it, and I want to make sure that every resident in Charlotte has an opportunity to do the same. And this
Okay.
transit referendum not only invests in our buses, our rail, but it also invests in our critical infrastructure. Talk about sidewalks, bike lanes. There are so many schools that do. When you look at neighborhoods that do not have safe sidewalks to get to
Okay.
school, I've seen kids not having
Okay.
sidewalks
We've
to
got
go to
time.
school. So we want to assure that. Well, that's all I have.
Sorry, I know it's moving quickly. I want to go ahead and ask the next question to each of you. The city's Unified Development Ordinance is now a couple of years old. Growth and development seem like it's one of the big stories in the Charlotte region. More and more people moving here every single day creates, which is great to be in that position in many ways, but it also creates some problems. When it comes to the development in Charlotte, do you think there need to be any changes to the development ordinance or to the rules that the city sets for how we're growing? Dimple, we'll start with you.
Well, as you know, Tony, that Unified Development Ordinance is a revolving document, and we will continue to make changes as community needs come up. But I believe that UDO addresses and it balances the growth while ensuring that we preserve the neighborhood's character. We have increased the density while also ensuring that we preserve our neighborhood's character, also ensure that we protect and preserve our natural resources, especially our heritage trees protection. That's the first we ever had that was introduced in the UDO. And also we have more stringent requirements around stormwater. Prior to UDO, we used to get a lot of complaints about stormwater runoffs, and we want to make sure that was addressed in the UDO. So there is a stricter requirements on stormwater as well. So I'm not opposed to making changes as the community needs come up. So I'll continue to work with our community to do that.
Okay, Edwin Peacock, same question. Any changes you would make to the development ordinance or to change the way Charlotte is growing?
Well, in unison with the Unified Development Ordinance, something that city staff has been working on for some time is the adoption of community area plans. And currently 70% of Charlotte doesn't actually have a plan for a specific area. So part of the driver of an effective Unified Development Ordinance has to be a plan. My belief is that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And right now, our city council has been deadlocked over how and when we would adopt those plans. I'd hope that we will adopt them, especially with this new council. Councilmember Ajmera and I think we're both ready to adopt that. Our staff has been hard at work seeking input from a lot of individuals around the city. I wouldn't necessarily, I would probably echo what Councilwoman Ajmera is saying. This is a flexible document. She is correct that stormwater has had a big strides and improvements there, heritage trees as well too. But you do see some pushback in neighborhoods, particularly as it relates to your heritage single family developed neighborhoods. It is new to see multifamily homes and townhouses moving into some of our homes, excuse me, in our legacy neighborhoods. So we'll see if that settles, and if this council or future councils see that as being a good fit as we continue to grow.
Okay, thanks. Misun Kim, same question to you. Any changes that need to be made to the way Charlotte is growing as it relates to city ordinances? You're muted. You're on mute.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so last time when I checked, 157 people are moving into Charlotte every day. And I drove around in Sugar Creek areas and see a lot of apartments being built and empty. And also I live in South Park, where duplexes showing up in there and without any change of infrastructure, and it causing more traffic problems. So single family homes has to be remain as a single family home. And then we have to create like mixed use developments and so on and so forth accordingly without creating too much of a traffic congestion. And then schools and everything else has been built. And also I strongly suggest the city of Charlotte can come up with a fund to using our city-owned land to build more affordable housing, to give ownership to people that don't have any they never owned any properties, and real ownerships. Take care of the people that never had anything in their lives.
Okay.
That's
All
what
right.
I
Thank
said.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we're talking with at-large candidates for Charlotte City Council. And up next will be District 3 in just a few minutes. Glenn, I think we've got time for one more question. You want to go ahead and ask one of the candidates?
Edwin, you mentioned, and this question is to everyone, but Edwin, you mentioned economic mobility earlier in one of your answers. Do you think the city, when it comes to uplifting people who have been left behind, and those people are often people of color, women, children, do you believe, and once again, this question is to everyone, do you believe the city has not done enough, is doing just enough, or has done too much to focus on economic uplift?
Manager Jones, myself, and Dina Diorio, and then the superintendent of schools served on the Leading on Opportunity board. This dates back to 2016, I believe, Glenn. And they began to align their budgets and their priorities around what we saw were clearly some of the big gaps, particularly more on the county side for early childhood and education, which the county closed that gap. On the city side, on things that we can do, I think we've got a lot more to do, particularly in the development of some of our high crime areas that deserve to be protected as heavily as some of our biggest assets in uptown Charlotte. CMPD, again, is doing an excellent job. But in order to combat some of the generational poverty, you have both the intersection of our schools, our county, as well as our city systems. So, Glenn, I love the question because obviously it's the reason that we're trying to serve is to help improve people's lives and to break that cycle of poverty, which starts with obviously very early childhood education, helping people to develop the skills necessary in order to get their first job, through big programs like the city has been sponsoring on youth employment. I know that the mayor's put a lot of efforts into that and don't want to see us go backwards there. I'd like to see us accelerate it. But we've just got a long way to go.
Okay. All right, thanks. Dimple Ajmera? And the question is Charlotte doing enough? Glenn, I'm sorry. Do you want to give it to Dimple?
Yes, it's Charlotte's efforts to address those who've been left behind. Has the city not done enough, just right, or too much, too focused on those who've been left behind?
Glenn, that's a great question. Thank you. I'm a product of upward mobility, and Mr. Peacock is correct, my colleague. Some of the recommendations that came out of Leading an Opportunity Task Force were implemented. We invested heavily in our affordable housing. We also invested in youth programming for the very first time in the last year's budget that was approved in fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. We made a intentional focus on youth programming and opportunities because for CMS students who may not want to pursue traditional four-year college option. So having an option to directly work with the city of Charlotte with $24 minimum starting wage. We have certainly opened doors for our college students, recent graduates from CMS. But there is obviously area for improvement. Infrastructure investments that we are making, it's going to also help with upward mobility because not everyone in our city of Charlotte has a car. And a lot of those families live in East and West Charlotte. So that plan will help us also towards upward mobility.
Okay, thanks. Misun Kim?
So 37% of people, they never owned a car in their lives. And those are the kids coming out of that kind of environment, they're not going to own the car either, and they're not going to have any opportunity to make a better life. So what I'm suggesting for people like that is from the middle school and high school students, they should learn trade skills. So they can be HVAC technicians, electricians, plumbers, and carpentry work. Women for the ladies, they can be seamstresses, so on and so forth. So we can take, when do they coming out of school, they can already make 70, 80, 90, $100,000 per year, already tap into the companies. They will hire them as an intern. So that's one thing. And the number two is about this transit system has been changed. Let's not focus on light rail because of that's people they're using is not the person that we need. They need to have more bus stops in very poverty area. Let's focus on where they don't have vehicles, so they have mobility to come out and being a work
Okay.
enforcement. Yes.
Okay, thanks. We're at
So
time.
that's what I suggested. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So one final question to the three of you. If you could just please take 30 seconds and just give us your final pitch on why people should vote for you. We'll start with Edwin Peacock.
Thanks, Tony. I'm Edwin Peacock, running for city council at large, and it'd be an honor and privilege to have your vote and support. I'm looking to make Charlotte safer and more affordable. As you look at our city council, I think what many people are seeking is they're seeking a competition of two ideas, both from my Democratic colleagues, but also from Republicans. And as a moderate Republican who's been endorsed by the Charlotte Observer in every single election that I've run since 2007, I take great pride in being able to work with others across the aisle to fix problems and find solutions. Please go to my website at edwinpeacock.com, and I look forward to your vote early now or on November 4th. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Misun Kim.
I am the one that you guys can have some hope because I'll be very honest, and it's time for us to have changes. People who's been sitting in city council said they haven't done a lot of things. I can identify a couple of people who's been doing. I said the rest of the people that don't do anything, and it's time for us to change it. And then I can bring the very honest and politician, being a honest politician, and I'm here to nothing but serving you guys.
Right. Thank you very much. Dimple Ajmera, final word to you, 30 seconds, why people should vote for you.
Thank you. Well, I am Dimple Ajmera, and as you know that I have been very principled. I always vote my values, and it's not about the words, it's the action that matters. And I have a proven record to serve on the Charlotte City Council. I chair the budget committee where we approved $3.6 billion budget, invested in our employees, our police officers, and our other employees without increasing your property tax rate. And I also bring the lived experience as a working mother. And so hope to have your support. Keep it simple. Vote for Dimple.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate the three of you joining us. That was Edwin Peacock, Misun Kim, and Dimple Ajmera. There are three other candidates running: Victoria Watlington, James Smudgy Mitchell Jr., and Luana Slack Mayfield. Those three were not able to join us tonight. Go ahead and move on to the District 3 race. In District 3, you'll see it's the orange district there on the left. This is a West Charlotte district. There are three candidates in this race, and I see two of them with us here tonight, I think. Am I right on that? Yes. We have Joy Mayo, who's a Democrat. We have Robin Emmons, who is unaffiliated, same as independent. And then the third candidate in the race is James Bowers, a Republican. I don't see him here tonight, so it just looks like Joy and Robin for right now. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We'll go ahead and just, if we could go ahead and start and just say, if you could please take a minute and describe who you are, introduce yourself to voters, we just ask, to explain why you're running and what sets you apart. Joy Mayo, why don't you start?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Joy Mayo. I am the Democratic candidate for District 3 for Charlotte City Council. I am a former teacher, so I taught middle school math and CMS. Now, also a nonprofit leader, neighborhood leader. I've seen what happens when we don't have intentional leadership. When areas are ignored. As a board chair and founder of Transforming Nations Forward, an organization really working to bring investment to one of Charlotte's most overlooked areas. So what I'm really proud of with the work that I will be bringing as a District 3 rep is innovative thinking, fresh energy, and a collaborative mindset. Excited to really have all of District 3 work together to bring opportunities and investment for some of our most overlooked areas.
Okay, thank you. Robin Emmons, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, just say who you are, why you're running, and what makes you different. Robin Emmons. She's signed in, but I don't think she's there. So when she comes back, we'll get that information from her. Glenn, do you have a question?
Sure. For the benefit of those who may not, for the benefit of those who may be unfamiliar with District 3, tell us about District 3, what makes it unique in Charlotte. What are some of the unique challenges that you see in District 3 that you may not see elsewhere in the city?
Yes. So Joy Mayo again, talking more about District 3. So as Glenn mentioned, District 3 is very diverse. As they saw in the picture, it is a large landmass. And as a result, has a diversity of ethnicities, diversity of socioeconomic background, and experiences. So it includes South End Charlotte, which has, a younger kind of crowd, transient. Oftentimes, we also have less affluent areas like West Boulevard, Nations Ford that have seen a lack of intentional investment from governmental agencies, Black and Brown communities in those areas. And then we have Steel Creek, which has a very robust growth.
Okay. Thank you. Robin Emmons, can you hear us? I see you signed in, but I don't think she's there. So, okay. Well, we'll go to a question.
Hey,
This
Tony?
one. Yes.
Was there a text about unmuting someone just now? Was that one of the candidates?
I don't think so. It doesn't show. I don't think she's muted.
Okay.
I don't believe. Hello. Hello. I see somebody there.
Okay.
Robin Emmons. Okay. Well, we'll keep going with Joy Mayo. I see there's a question in the chat. This is from Belinda. Belinda asks, let's see. What does Charlotte City government plan to do about the increasing homeless problem? Joy, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on that. The city of Charlotte has a new initiative, Faith in Housing. There have been actually 2 articles about that. QC Metro had one, I think yesterday, the Observer also as well. So how are we thinking innovatively? CMS, we know, is the greatest landowner in the city of Charlotte. Second to that are Houses of Faith. So how can we collaborate with Houses of Faith to bring affordable housing? We've seen some really great initiatives, particularly at Caldwell Presbyterian, which is right off the Gold Line for chronically unhoused individuals in our area. So I think thinking innovatively outside of the box in order to allow people to be part of the solution. So excited to continue that work that the city council is already doing. Also having conversation with CMS. Like I mentioned, they are the biggest landowner in Charlotte. So how do we work with them in order to think about housing, particularly workforce housing for our teachers and other people who work for CMS who are struggling to actually live in the community where they serve. So I think there are a lot of strategies that we can utilize, and I'm excited to really think through that with a housing shortage and also unhoused community.
Got it. Thank you very much. I'm hoping to get Robin Emmons. I see actually signed in twice. One looks muted and one is unmuted. I don't know if the one that is muted needs to be unmuted. Robin Emmons. Or Bree, are you able to unmute the other Robin Emmons?
I'm asking to unmute and to start video.
Okay.
It's not, and I've sent a chat message. So Robin, if you can hear me, look at your chat and I can help you out.
So this is the fun of Zoom and doing live online events. Joy, we'll go ahead and keep talking with you. Question for you just about affordability in Charlotte. I did an article for the Charlotte Ledger a few months ago talking to people who were struggling with higher utility bills. This is at a time when, rents, and housing seem like they're getting expensive. Food costs are going up. What can the city of Charlotte do to make sure that Charlotte remains an affordable place for people to live and that they don't have to feel like they need to move out to an outlying county in order to be in this area?
I think there are a lot of different ways that we can do that. And I've actually already contributed to that as a neighborhood leader, which is why I think I am the best choice to represent District 3 for Charlotte City Council. So as an HOA president for my neighborhood, we kept corporate landlords out of our neighborhood for the last 9 years by enforcing our bylaws so that only 20% of the units in our neighborhood could be rented. So as a District 3 rep, one, empowering communities, helping communities to enforce their bylaws, so that we have a pathway to affordable home ownership. Everyone wants a piece of the American pie and the American dream. And part of that is generally home ownership, which allows people to really have that generational wealth. And that's so important to Black and Brown communities. So excited to continue that legacy District 3 wide. I also have talked quite a lot on the campaign trail about community benefits agreements. So how do we empower communities when they are having conversations with developers? We can be talking about affordability as well. So I need you to reserve 10%, 20% for affordable housing in this apartment complex that you're going to be building. We could also potentially ask them about workforce development. So when these companies are coming to Charlotte, having conversations about workforce development as well, so that people are really able to be part of the solution into these jobs that are coming to Charlotte, right? We don't just have to employ people from outside of Charlotte. We can create a pathway and a pipeline for workers.
Okay, thanks. Glenn, do you have one more question for Joy?
Yes, in the session with the at-large candidates, we talked about the referendum. Voters are going to be asked to decide to vote on a 1-cent sales tax increase to fund transit plan. How do you intend to vote and why?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have remained neutral on the 1-cent sales tax this whole election. I may oppose and just not vote for that at all, or just abstain. Pardon me, wrong word choice. Abstain from voting for that. You know, as someone who is very concerned with the environment and the state of our city, I don't think that necessarily adding additional roads is going to solve some of the problem. But I do understand the importance of increasing our infrastructure. So I see the pros and the cons. I've had a lot of conversation with neighborhood leaders about, you know, particularly in West Boulevard, when we think about the Silver Line going to the airport, we've seen what happened when the Blue Line came. It led to displacement of Black and Brown people, to affordable housing, bungalows, all the things that, you know, first-time homeowners and home buyers could actually afford. We've seen that happen. So my fear is that if the 1-cent sales tax happens without a strong council and without a strong authority, that it will lead to displacement again, gentrification, and I think we have to have real conversations. That can be part of that workforce development that we talked about before. If we know these jobs, okay.
Tony, I did get a text from Robin. She said she was unable to join by Zoom. She sends her apologies. She said she attempted to call in, but apparently no one could hear her.
Okay, well, you know, technical difficulties are kind of one of those things, and you know, we try to get all the candidates, as many candidates as we can in here, and sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't. So, you know, we appreciate, you know, her efforts, but we still have Joy here. One final question, Joy, if you could just give us your 30-second pitch, why people should vote for you.
Yeah. So excited for residents of District 3 to vote for me. Part of that is just that I've been doing the work for 9 years. I have been in community. I've been living in Nations Ford, one of Charlotte's most overlooked areas. I've also been collaborating with neighborhood leaders in Steel Creek, with Steel Creek Residents Association in West Boulevard. So I already have a pulse on what neighborhood leaders and residents are facing, and I've already been working on solutions. So I think that my prior experience and also relationships make me the best candidate to represent District 3 for Charlotte City Council. So please choose Joy. Early voting has started at all 21 locations. Learn more about me on my website, JOI for Charlotte.com.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us, Joy Mayo. The other candidates in this race are Robin Emmons, who's unaffiliated, independent, and we had some technical issues, I think, trying to get her on. And then the third candidate in the race is James Bowers. He's a Republican. So we got a few choices in District 3. This is a West Charlotte district. So thank you very much. We'll go ahead and move on to District 6. I think we have both of those candidates here with us, and fingers crossed that the technology will be working for the remainder of the time here. So District 6 is the one in purple toward the bottom of the screen there. This is a district that's a South Charlotte district around the South Park area, although it also reaches up north toward looks like Myers Park, and then a little bit to the east, toward Cotswold, that area over there. There are two candidates running in District 6. There is no incumbent that is running in this race because we just talked with him a few minutes ago. Edwin Peacock, who is the currently council member representing District 6, is running at large, so that means that it's an open seat. The two candidates are Krista Bokhari, she's a Republican, and Kimberly Owens, she's a Democrat. I think you are both there and with the cameras on. Thank you. If you could each please take a minute, introduce yourselves, say why you're running and what sets you apart. We'll start with Kimberly Owens.
Hi, I appreciate the opportunity to present tonight. Apologies that I'm mobile, but we are at another event. Again, I'm Kimberly Owens. I'm running in this district. I've lived here for 30 years. I've raised my 3 kids here. I've been an attorney. I have been a community leader. And I really feel like there's a time for public service. And I want to set an example for a number of other people to potentially lean their talents into a time in our country where we do have such a partisan rift. I don't view city council and particularly local government to be an area of a real partisan need. I think most of the things that we do up there are things that are done just by good people with good skill sets who are putting forth the right effort. And that's what I'm running on. I'm a very practical person. I'm a very fiscally minded person. I very much believe that a lot of the issues that we're having in Charlotte right now are how we balance the benefits and the burdens of our success. We're a growing community and a lot of people want to live here, and we need to manage that so that they are getting the benefits that they want, and we are burdening the people who are already here as little as we can. But I believe in a prosperous Charlotte that is safe and accommodates all of us. And that's why I'm leaning in and running. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Krista Bokhari, if you would like to take a minute, introduce yourself, just say why you're running and what sets you apart.
Hi, everyone. My name is Krista Bokhari, and I am running because I have proven myself to be a strong leader for the district. I started serving this district before I ever thought about running as my own council person. And I believe that, the leaders, the HOA leaders of the district noticed that and many asked them, or they asked me to run. I have not only that, but I have the relationships within Raleigh that will really bridge the gap that we currently have on city council. That relationship has been strained for years. I believe that my relationships with them can not only help our city, but hopefully unlock some much needed funding that we desperately need in this city. I am running because I believe public safety needs to be a #1 priority. I believe that our current member, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Glenn, why don't you ask the first question?
Yes, I'm going back to the transit plan, because I think that's probably one of the bigger issues that's on everyone's mind right now. How do you intend to vote and why?
Who do you want to go?
Me?
Let's go Krista Bokhari.
Okay. Well, I intend to vote yes on the transit referendum. I believe that right now Charlotte needs to make sure that we are putting together a robust transit plan to bring us into the future. We have 157 people moving here a day. And if we are not taking the steps that we need now, we will become the next Atlanta. Now, I say that I am concerned. I do want to make sure that the right people are put on the authority that is going to be vital to the success of the plan. So I do have just some concerns there since we don't know who will be on the authority, but I will be keeping a close eye. I have been connecting with the neighborhoods across District 6 to make sure that I have a comprehensive list of the needs in the district so I can present a strong plan to get the funding we need.
Okay, thank you. Kimberly Owens?
Yes, I have already voted for it. I voted on the first day of early voting at Hal Marshall, and I enthusiastically, but with some real wide-eyed appreciation of the challenges, I enthusiastically voted for it. And when I say wide-eyed appreciation of the challenges, I'm really speaking some of what Joy was talking about with respect to our historical displacement of some communities for the good of the greater Charlotte. And I think, again, because of that concern, because of how we roll this out, I also put my name in the ring, both with the county and the city, to be on this transit authority in the event I'm not successful in this effort to represent District 6. I feel strongly that we need good people on there, and I believe that my legal background would serve that well. So I'd like to hold the community to task and to really expect more out of that transit authority.
All right, thank you. I'll ask the next question. It's about transparency in city government. The city council in April or May voted in closed session to give a settlement to the police chief. Public records requests sometimes take months. There's sometimes a perception, certainly I can tell you among journalists, but also sometimes among residents, that sometimes things are sort of decided before city council actually discusses them, that by the time it gets there, it's already decided. What is your opinion of how transparent city government is, and is there anything you would do differently? We'll start with Kimberly Owens.
One of the reasons I'm running is to encourage us to have greater confidence in our local governance and to really try to lean in heavily into increased transparency and efficiency. For me, we have a low ebb in what I would call our trust, our trust equity with the people. And that doesn't serve anyone well. That manifests itself by people not voting, people feeling as though nothing really matters and not really following what's going on. I think we need to get out in front of that. And I very much would be an advocate in pushing back, particularly on the city attorney, in times when I feel like things do not have to be done behind closed doors. As an attorney, I'm exceptionally comfortable pushing back with some, reverence and some diplomacy, but I can push back on those things and really ask why we have to do something in secret. I'd like us to be, just as the audit said, to be releasing the minutes from private meetings more quickly and on a routinized basis so that the people maybe don't know in the moment that something happens, but they'll know why it happened. And I also want to communicate from the dais with that authority.
All right, thank you. Krista Bokhari, transparency in city government.
Yes, I mean, it has absolutely been a problem. I have had a front row seat to all of it over the last 7 years. Right now, our city, the city has woken up to it finally, and I think it's vitally important that we have somebody on council that is not a Democrat. Right now there are 10 Democrats and only 2 Republicans, and the fact that the Democrats are coming after the District 6 seat with such fury, they put Kimberly Owens' face just as big as they put the mayor's face on their voter guide, tells you everything you need to know. They want this seat because they want to be able to continue to do whatever they want to do in the city without having anyone to call out the things that are happening behind closed doors. It is dangerous. It is dangerous for any city to have this level of one-party rule. And we need to step up and say enough is enough. It's time to not only keep a Republican in the seat, but vote for more.
Okay, Glenn?
Public safety. Aside from transit, that's the other big issue that everyone's talking about right now. I asked this question earlier. Do you believe Charlotte is inherently unsafe at this point? And if so, what should be done about it?
Krista?
Absolutely. I mean, look, this is hitting in our backyards, literally. I mean, my car was stolen from my driveway. My neighbor's door was kicked in and their home was robbed. A man was shot 2 doors down from my house. This is all right next to me in my driveway. So I think when we have a mayor saying that all in all, this city is safe, it's really a slap in the face to the constituents of this city. It is hitting. We just hit a list. We're like number 14 on, I think it was property crimes across the country. We have to stop putting a PR spin on crime in this city. It is not our job as a leader to say everything is great. Our job is to say we are missing the mark on this area and we need to get to work to fixing it. And our city has become a city who has tried to PR our way into public safety, and it's not happening.
Kimberly Owens.
So I will take issue with a lot of what was just said, simply because I do view us as a safe city on the whole. I will say, however, in my career, in 30 years, I have traveled to a lot of different countries, a lot of different cities. I have worked out of those cities. I have done public transit on those cities, and I cannot think of a single big city that did not come back how I would describe grittier after the pandemic. We also, in addition to the pandemic, and in addition to losing some of the tenants that were uptown and having some empty buildings that, you know, really do kind of fill in with crime at times, I do feel as though we are at a situation where we need to better manage our growth. We have not accelerated the number of police officers that we should have for a city our size, and we need to get on that. We need recruitment and retention packages. They're going to drive talented officers to continue to serve the city. We need to work with Raleigh to get the money that we need for additional DAs so that we're not processing 2020 crimes in 2025. We have a lot of work to do, but on the whole, we are a safe and desirable city, and we could always do more to accommodate our growth.
Okay, thank you. My question that I have for you is on affordable housing. It's been one of the priorities of this city council and city councils before it is to build more affordable housing and not have people price out of living in Charlotte. Sometimes developers' plans to build developments with affordable housing are opposed by neighbors who don't like them. Would you support more affordable housing in District 6, Kimberly Owens?
I will support affordable housing, and I actually prefer to refer to it as attainable housing, because I feel like affordable is a term that means different things to different people, and it really depends on what your bucket of cash looks like. That attainable housing, the thing I'm most excited about is this Faith in Housing initiative. I've seen 12 churches. I am ignorant as to how many of those are actually in District 6, but I would love to think that there's at least a couple that are interested in conversion of some of their property to housing for either seniors or housing for folks who need a little bit of help. And then I also love the idea of truly bringing a Christ-like spirit to the congregation and having them provide wraparound services. My experience at the Havens has led me to appreciate that something as simple as medical case management and keeping somebody on their medications and helping them with job training can be the difference between somebody just momentarily passing through and having some stability for a limited time to really building on a lifetime of stability that enables them to have home ownership. So I am supportive.
Okay, thanks. Krista Bokhari, would you support affordable housing in District 6?
So, I mean, let's talk about how we make housing affordable, right? How do we make housing affordable is we cut out a lot of the regulations in the city that adds 30% of the cost to the builds in this city. So we have the zoning and the permitting process right there is adding 30% onto the cost. So yes, we need to look at doing things like that, looking at streamlining that process. And that's something that is not going to change a thing within the district. But I can't just blanketly say, I do want more affordable housing. We want our teachers. We want our police officers. I'm sorry, someone's calling in. We want our seniors to be able to live and thrive in District 6. But we need to be looking at ways to make sure that the city isn't the cause for the cost of housing pricing of going up. And looking at those regulations is a quick and easy way to make a big change in our city all across the board. So what was the second part of the question?
Well, you're just about out of time. So
Oh,
I think that'll
yeah.
probably be a good place to end
But
it.
yes,
think.
I am in favor of affordable housing. I want to look at
Okay.
how we're going about it.
Okay, thanks. All right, we're just about out of time, so we'll just close with one final question. If you could each please take 30 seconds and just make the final pitch to voters. We'll start with Kimberly Owens. Why should people vote for you? 30 seconds.
Would ask people to vote for me if they want a mature and practical leadership voice on city council. I do not care about party. I care about people. And I care mostly about holding people to account and doing things that are right for the city. I've been a skilled attorney, particularly in real estate law. And I also bring a sense of community leadership through the nonprofits I serve. And so I would just ask people to vote for Kimberly Owens for city council. Again, my website is owensforcitycouncil.com. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Krista Bokhari, why should people vote for you?
Well, I have proven myself as a strong leader for this community, like I said, for almost 8 years. I have earned the trust of many HOAs. I am endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police, by the Firefighters Association, and by the Charlotte Observer. I have proven myself to be a strong voice for public safety, and I believe that I've earned the trust of the district. The relationships within Raleigh will be proved to be vital to moving forward for funding and relationships.
Okay.
We need accountability.
All right, that'll be the final word. I appreciate you both joining us. I know there are other events tonight and throughout this busy election season. Thank you for joining us and for sharing your thoughts. And for voters, if we will have a replay of this, we'll put it on YouTube. It'll be at theelectionhub.org. It should be up there, I hope, by tomorrow evening. There's also plenty of other information on candidates, theelectionhub.org. Every single candidate in Mecklenburg County is on there. Even in the towns, Huntersville, Davidson, Cornelius, Pineville, Mint Hill, Matthews. So check it out, theelectionhub.org. That's going to do it for tonight. Glenn, thank you for joining me and asking questions tonight and a couple nights ago at the school board forum. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, Tony. Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank
Have a great
you.
night, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
And thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And thank you also to Bree Chrisman on our team and Sucharita Kadali for making this happen. That'll do it. Have a good night.